My dear brothers and sisters, your kidneys were created to cleanse your body every single day. But modern food, chemicals, and acidic living overload them. Nature already gave us powerful herbs to support this cleansing process. Today, I'm going to show you 7 traditional plant remedies that may help your kidneys work the way they were designed to.
Your kidneys filtered your entire blood supply about 30 times today. 30 times, and right now, inside those 2 fist-sized organs, microscopic crystals could be forming in silence, building for months or years before they ever announce themselves with the kind of pain that drops a grown person to their knees. Mainstream medicine wants you to believe the only answer is a CT scan, a prescription for tamsulosin, or a surgical procedure that costs more than most people's monthly salary. But what the pharmaceutical industry has spent decades burying is that certain plants your great-grandparents used freely, can flush kidney waste, dissolve early-stage crystals, and restore the alkaline terrain your kidneys were designed to operate in. Today, on Health Quest, you're going to learn the top 7 herbs that science and traditional medicine agree on, how they work at the cellular level, how to use them in a structured protocol tonight, and why no doctor with a pharmaceutical rep on speed dial is ever going to hand you this information. Picture a city water treatment plant running on a 30-year-old filtration system that was never serviced, fed water laced with chlorine, fluoride, synthetic hormones, and industrial chemical runoff every single day. That is your kidneys right now. Your kidneys are a pair of bean-shaped organs sitting just below your ribcage on either side of your spine. Each one contains approximately 1 million microscopic filters called nephrons. Every minute, about 1.2 liters of blood pass through these filters. They pull out urea, creatinine, excess mineral salts, uric acid, pharmaceutical residues, and metabolic waste. They return clean, mineral-balanced blood back into circulation. So what does that actually mean for you? It means when your kidneys are overloaded, when the filtration system becomes sluggish, those mineral salts don't pass cleanly through. Calcium oxalate, uric acid, calcium phosphate, they begin to crystallize inside the renal tubules. First, as microscopic sand grain deposits, then as aggregates, then as stones. The medical term for this environment is a supersaturated urine state, meaning your urine has more dissolved minerals than the liquid can hold in suspension. Think of it like oversweetened tea where the sugar starts crystallizing at the bottom of the glass. Now here is where plant medicine does something no pharmaceutical can replicate. The 7 herbs in today's protocol work through 3 distinct mechanisms simultaneously. The first is diuretic alkalization. Herbs like chanca, piedra, and dandelion root contain bitter glycosides and sesquiterpene lactones that signal the kidneys to dramatically increase urine volume and flow rate. More flow means less time for crystals to form. The increased alkalinity shifts urinary pH away from the acidic range, where calcium oxalate thrives. The second mechanism is anti-crystallization chemistry. Chanca piedra, whose name literally translates to stonebreaker in Spanish, contains phytochemical compounds called lignans, specifically philantine and hypophilantine. Research published in the British Journal of Urology found that these lignans inhibit the nucleation process, the very first step where individual crystals begin bonding together to form a stone. They don't just slow stone formation, they interrupt the molecular handshake that makes crystal aggregation possible. The third mechanism is nephroprotective antioxidant activity. Herbs like celery seed and turmeric deliver curcuminoids and phthalate compounds directly to kidney tissue, where they quench the oxidative stress that damages nephron walls and makes them more hospitable to crystal adhesion. So what does that mean in plain language? These plants flush the pipes, neutralize the acidic chemistry that builds stones, and repair the tissue that stones cling to. All 3 at once, without a single side effect warning label. Your kidneys were not designed to fail. They were engineered by millions of years of evolution to function in an alkaline, plant-rich biological terrain. Dr. Sebi's foundational teaching was not complicated. Disease cannot thrive in an alkaline environment. And kidney stones, in steinen, den and drain staltem, in fidistone stol, ben don stone made, of acidic mineral deposits, are the body's distress signal screaming that the terrain has shifted. So let's talk about what shifted it. First, the modern diet is a chronic kidney assault. Ultra-processed foods are loaded with phosphoric acid, high-fructose corn syrup, sodium chloride, and refined oxalates, all of which drive your urinary pH into the acidic range where crystals love to grow. The average American eats almost 3,400 milligrams of sodium a day. The kidney's safe handling threshold is about 2,300. You are asking a filter to process 50% more salt than it was designed to handle every single day. Second, chronic dehydration. Most people walking around right now are functioning at mild to moderate dehydration and have no idea. When your fluid intake is low, urine becomes concentrated, which is exactly the supersaturated state that turns dissolved minerals into crystals. This is not a personal failure. You were never told that coffee, soda, and sports drinks are dehydrating agents, not hydrators. Third, pharmaceutical accumulation. Long-term use of NSAIDs, like ibuprofen and naproxen, has been directly linked to chronic kidney inflammation in, multiple peer-reviewed studies. Diuretic medications that are prescribed for blood pressure can, paradoxically, increase uric acid concentrations, creating just the precise chemical environment for uric acid stone formation. So, the medication for one problem is actually seeding the conditions for another. Fourth, chronic low-grade stress. Cortisol, which is your main stress hormone, disrupts calcium metabolism. It triggers calcium to leach from bones into the bloodstream, which then passes through the kidneys in elevated concentrations. And chronic stress is a direct physiological driver of calcium oxalate stone formation. Honestly, nobody tells you that. Fifth, the environment itself. Tap water in most municipalities contains things like chlorine, chloramine, fluoride, pharmaceutical residues, and heavy metals such as lead and arsenic. Every glass of unfiltered municipal water, adds to the kidney's toxin burden. None of this is your fault. You were handed a food system engineered to addict, a healthcare system engineered to medicate, and a water supply engineered to meet the lowest legal standard, not the highest biological one. But here is what the system could never engineer away from you: the plant kingdom. These 7 herbs work because they restore the exact alkaline, high-flow, low crystal nucleation environment your kidneys evolved to operate in. They don't chase symptoms, they rebuild the terrain. Let's talk about what the science actually says, not the science funded by a pharmaceutical patent holder, but the independent research that the mainstream health media almost never amplifies. Start with chanca piedra, Phyllanthus neruri. A landmark study published in the British Journal of Urology followed kidney stone patients who took standardized Phyllanthus neruri extract for 3 months. In the treated group, 83% showed either complete stone clearance or a significant reduction in stone size. The control group, which received a placebo, showed no meaningful change. The researchers identified that the plant's lignans specifically inhibit calcium oxalate crystal growth and smooth muscle spasm, which is what causes the excruciating pain during a stone passage event. Here is the finding that stopped me: cold chanca piedra also reduced urinary calcium excretion. Not slightly, by a clinically significant margin. This means the herb wasn't just clearing existing stones, it was interrupting the supply chain for future stone formation. Now let's go to Ayurvedic medicine, which has been treating kidney stones for over 3,000 years. The classical Ayurvedic formula for urinary stones is called pashanabheda, a compound word that translates directly to stone destroyer in Sanskrit. The primary herb in this formula is Virginia ligulata, known in Indian folk medicine as patharkar. A 2014 study published in the Journal of Ethnopharmacology found that Virginia ligulata extract significantly inhibited calcium oxalate crystal aggregation in vitro and demonstrated protective effects on kidney tubular cells under conditions of oxalate-induced oxidative stress. 3,000 years of traditional knowledge, confirmed by a peer-reviewed journal in 2014. Dandelion root, dismissed for decades as nothing more than a garden weed, was examined in a pilot study published in the Journal of Alternative and Complementary Medicine. Researchers found that a standardized dandelion extract increased urinary frequency by 30% within 5 hours, increased urinary volume by an average of 128 milliliters per dose, and maintained this diuretic effect without the electrolyte depletion caused by pharmaceutical diuretics. That last point is critical. Pharmaceutical diuretics strip your body of potassium and magnesium while forcing fluid loss. Dandelion does the same job while simultaneously supplying potassium, one of the minerals your kidneys need to function properly. Let's talk about celery seed. Apium graveolens. In Caribbean folk medicine and across West African traditional healing, celery seed has been used for generations as a kidney tonic and urinary antiseptic. Research from the University of Chicago's kidney stone program identified that the active compound in celery seed, a phthalide called 3N-butylphthalide, relaxes smooth muscle tissue in the ureter, the tube connecting the kidney to the bladder. A relaxed ureter means a stone has a wider, smoother path to travel. This is the exact same mechanism that alpha blocker drugs like tamsulosin target, except tamsulosin costs between $60 and $90 a month, causes dizziness, retrograde ejaculation, and hypotension, and requires a prescription. Celery seed costs $3 at a health food store. Alright, let's talk about the preparation method, the kidney flush tea blend. This protocol actually uses a dual approach, a concentrated morning decoction, and then a sustained release capsule protocol in the evening. For the morning decoction, you'll need 1 tablespoon of dried chanca, piedra, herb, 1 tablespoon of dried dandelion root, 1 teaspoon of corn silk, 1 teaspoon of marshmallow root, and 1 teaspoon of celery seed. Combine all of the herbs in 2 liters of filtered water. Not tap water. That's important. Bring it to a gentle boil, then reduce to a simmer for about 20 minutes. Don't use a rolling boil. High heat destroys the volatile phthalide compounds in celery seed. Remove from the heat, steep for a further 15 minutes, then strain. You should end up with approximately 1.5 liters of dark amber liquid. Now add the juice of 1 whole lemon. This isn't for flavor. Lemon's citric acid binds to urinary calcium and forms calcium citrate, a compound that's way more soluble than calcium oxalate. When it comes to dosage and timing, here's how you want to do it. Drink the full 1.5 liters of kidney flush tea across the morning and early afternoon, roughly 500 milliliters upon waking, 500 milliliters mid-morning, and 500 milliliters before 2 p.m. Do not drink large quantities after 4 p.m. unless you're ready for frequent nighttime urination. The diuretic effect of this blend is real and measurable. Now, for the evening capsule protocol, take 1 capsule of standardized turmeric extract providing 500 milligrams of curcuminoids with a fat-containing meal. Curcumin actually requires fat for absorption. Take 1 capsule of standardized chanca piedra extract, verified for a minimum of 1.5% phyllanthrin, providing 400 to 500 milligrams. Take 1 hydrangea root capsule, 500 milligrams, with the same meal. This dual approach, morning liquid protocol, evening concentrated extract, keeps active herbal compound levels steady across a full 18-hour window. So, let's talk week-by-week progression. In week 1, your body is just adjusting. Expect increased urination. That's actually the mechanism working. You might notice your urine is initially a bit darker as the kidneys start releasing stored waste. Drink an additional 500 milliliters of plain filtered water to support the flush process. Some people notice a mild ache in the kidney area in week 1. That's a sign that stagnant waste is being mobilized. This usually resolves by day 5. Moving into week 2, your urine should be consistently pale amber to clear, which indicates healthy hydration and filtration. Energy levels often improve noticeably at this point, as the kidney-liver filtration loop becomes less congested. Just keep maintaining the full protocol. By week 4, this is when research suggests the anti-crystallization activity of chanca piedra reaches its most meaningful clinical window. If you have a history of kidney stones, this is the period where follow-up imaging has historically shown the most measurable change. Continue through a full 90-day protocol for maximum structural benefit. Now let's talk about contraindications and precautions. If you're taking prescription blood thinners, warfarin, rivaroxaban, apixaban, consult with a qualified herbalist or integrative physician before starting this protocol. Dandelion root and turmeric both have mild anticoagulant activity that can compound pharmaceutical blood thinning effects. If you are pregnant, avoid therapeutic doses of celery seed, as high-dose phthalides have historically been used as emmenagogues. Herbs that stimulate uterine contractions. If you have confirmed kidney disease, not stones but reduced kidney function, you really need to check with a specialist before dramatically increasing your fluid intake. The diuretic load of this protocol might not be appropriate for someone on fluid restriction guidelines. If you develop a fever, sharp unilateral back pain, or blood in your urine beyond light cloudiness, seek immediate medical evaluation. These are signs that a stone may be causing urinary blockage, and that's a situation that requires clinical intervention, not just herbal support. Here's a pro tip: the magnesium stack. This is the one addition that, honestly, most kidney stone protocols miss entirely. Magnesium citrate, not magnesium oxide, not magnesium chloride, specifically magnesium citrate taken at 300 to 400 milligrams before bed, does something remarkable inside your kidneys overnight. Magnesium binds to oxalate in the digestive tract before it ever even reaches the kidneys, forming magnesium oxalate, a compound that is way less absorbable than calcium oxalate. Less oxalate in the blood means less oxalate arriving at the kidneys, which means less raw material for calcium oxalate stone formation. A study published in the Journal of Urology found that patients taking magnesium supplements showed a 92.3% reduction in kidney stone recurrence over a 3-year follow-up period. Add magnesium citrate to your evening protocol. It costs less than $10 a month, no prescription required. Now let's do a rapid recap. Let's lock this in. 1. Kidney stones form when urinary pH drops, acidic and mineral salts supersaturate your urine. 2. The modern diet, chronic dehydration, pharmaceutical load, and environmental toxins are driving that acidic shift, not your personal choices. 3. Chanca piedra interrupts crystal nucleation at the molecular level. Science confirmed, 3,000-year-old traditional knowledge backed. 4. Dandelion root, corn silk, and marshmallow root flush. Dilute and lubricate the urinary tract without stripping your electrolytes. 5. Celery seed relaxes the ureter the same way tamsulosin does. For $3, not $90. 6. The protocol is a morning decoction plus evening standardized extracts run for a minimum of 90 days. 7. Add magnesium citrate before bed. Remember this, the body is not broken. The terrain was poisoned. Restore the terrain, and the body heals itself. Before you close this video, I want to ask you something specific. Have you or someone you know passed a kidney stone or been told you have gravel? What did your doctor actually tell you to do, and did it work? Drop your experience in the comments below. In the next video, we're going deep into the liver, specifically the 5 signs that your liver is silently overloaded. The 3 herbs that clinical research says regenerate hepatocytes, actual liver cells, and the morning protocol that West African healers have used for generations to keep the body's master detox organ running at full capacity. If this kidney video resonated with you, that next one is going to stop you in your tracks. Hit subscribe before you leave, not for us, for you. Because what we're building here on Health Quest is a library of knowledge that was always yours, recovered from the margins of history, translated from traditional healing systems, and cross-referenced with the independent science that mainstream medicine never puts in front of you. Food is medicine. The body is the healer. You are not a patient waiting for permission. You are a sovereign being, and this channel exists to make sure you never forget it. We'll see you in the next one.